They were fighting to perhaps go to the grand, so we'll see how that strategy comes out here. They are off that start line. Really quick start from lane 1 and 2 as well as lane 4 here.
Yeah, really impressive start for Brookline here in lane 4. Looks like they're just hammering it off that start. Quick catches, just getting that boat up to speed, and it's going to be important for them to find that length, find that settle shift at the end of this starting sequence for them. Lane 5, here's Hanover also making a great press here in the early stages of this race.
Wow, really out here, Hanover getting that distance per stroke. I think that is the best way of describing what we're witnessing here. Even at a high stroke rate, they are just making it effective across the field. And I know that they're feeling pretty good about that start out of the starting blocks because they look to be even over with lane 1's Boston Latin.
Absolutely.
If not ahead.
I think what we're seeing here in Hanover is just that light catch, that quick turnaround at the front end that is really helping them continue to facilitate boat speed here. Lane 6, Hingham, making a good push here as they draw even with lane 4, that's Brookline, and lane 1, Boston Latin, as we look to see where this race will start to segment itself out for 300 meters in, and we are still within 4 seats for all 6 crews.
Now, what's going to be very difficult is even though lane 5 Hanover looks to be even with lane 1 or potentially down a seat, is going to be very difficult for them to see where they are. Likewise, lane 1 is going to have a difficult time seeing all the way across to lane 5 to see where that push is as well. So we're watching as it comes out here. Lane 2 and lane 5 almost looking even, which would be Duxbury and Hanover, with Boston Latin potentially taking 1 seat up here.
Lane 3, Glastonbury slipping off the pace just a little bit as lane 4, Brookline, loses 1 stroke on the rest of the field. We see lane 5, Hanover, continuing to hold that lead of just 1 seat over lane 6 with Hingham, tied dead even stroke for stroke in lane 1, Boston Latin, who in turn is just 1 seat up on Duxbury. Still amongst the top 4 crews, separated by no more than 2, maybe 3 seats here.
And look at Hingham go. I think they're playing this quite strategically. I think they went with lane 5's Hanover, and now that they went with them, they're in the front of the pack.
Absolutely, Emily. I think they've really done a great job of taking that draft, as it were, though not literally, and kind of just letting that momentum hold them and through that push. But speaking of momentum, take a look now on the left-hand side of your screen as here comes Boston Latin, making a press here up and alongside of these other race leaders. This is still a fantastic race as it looks like Boston Latin, coming across the halfway mark, has made their shift and is trying to establish dominance here in the second half of this piece.
I would argue, though, Will, that it looks like lane 6 Hingham is out ahead right now. Coxed by Emily Gu, we have the crew of Emily, Emmy, Tia, Maeve, Eliza, Louisa, Bianca, Ava, and Linnea out here. And I could be mistaken. We could have lane 1 Boston Latin out a little bit ahead, but it looks even, if not 1 bow ball to Hingham.
Coming across the 1,000 line, I'd give it more than a bow ball. I'd give Hingham about a seat, maybe a seat and a half over lane 1, but it is close. Hingham continuing to press that advantage, trying to get the rest of that field in their rear view mirrors. But look at this, Hingham, blades overlapping on that buoy. They are gonna have to come to port, or they are going to risk a warning as they stand to cross over into lane 5, Hanover's lane.
They have taken it a length up on Hanover, though, which is pretty wild considering they were behind. So to go from down to a length up in that efficiently of a movement, hats off to Hingham for that movement. But Hanover is in the game and they are fighting. Shout out also to Boston Latin, who keeps looking across, and that coxswain Gabriel Roper for really a hard job of trying to see out in lane 6 what is happening. Both coxswains from Hingham and Boston Latin, trying to gauge where the other is. Oh, it looks like we may have had a timing challenge out here in lane 5 potentially, but good recovery from that bow pair to make it work and get back on the rhythm.
I think so. Coming now into the last 300, 400 meters of this race, it is lane 1, Boston Latin, and lane 6, Hingham, on opposite sides of this race course, finding each other here at the front of the pack, stretching it out. What a finish.
Wow.
It's gonna be Hingham in lane 6 for the Petite final finish, with Boston Latin right behind them.